I've been staring at this all day, I still don't get it.
I'm pretty sure this goes without saying, but everyone knows what Tetris is. It's basically the de facto puzzle game. First released alongside the Game Boy, Tetris became a global phenomenon that everyone wanted to try out. And even today, you can ask anyone on the street if they've played Tetris, and it's very likely that someone has at least played one version of the game. And you can't escape it. Almost every console since the third generation of video games has had at least one version of Tetris, including some weird ones, like Hatris or Faces. Tris 2.
What the fuck?
But in this video, we're focusing on one particular Tetris game in general. One that even piques your curiosity just by reading the title of this video and asking yourself, what the hell is Tetris 99? It all started on a Nintendo Direct on February 19th, 2019, a video that showcased upcoming games at the time, and during its runtime, they announced a Tetris game that would be played with up to 99 people. You know what this means? Tetris 99 is a puzzle battle royale game. What? And to make things even weirder, after the trailer, it released on the eShop for free on the exact same day it was announced. Yes, this game was Shadow Drop. No build-up, no fanfare, nothing. And a lot of people were confused when they saw this, but once they started to play it, they made their voices heard. Some praised the game for being incredibly unique, while others criticized it for complicating an already simple game. Why is that? Well, let's go see and find out. Let's start with the controls. They're mostly the same as many other Tetris games. Rotating your pieces with the A and B buttons, holding pieces with the L button, all of that. But then you try to use the stick. It doesn't move the pieces. What does move them are the 4 face buttons on the left Joy-Con. On release, there wasn't any way to change the controls to use the left stick instead. So what is the L stick used for? Manually targeting opponents. Which segues to the new controls introduced in Tetris 99, the targeting system. You can either manually pick your opponents using the left stick, or use the right stick to select up to 4 preset targets: random, KOs, badges, and attackers. At the start of every game, the preset is always set on random, despite the fact that it's literally the most worthless option in the game. You're better off selecting the other 3. With KOs, you target players that are closest to getting eliminated from a full matrix of blocks. With attackers, you target players that are, well, attacking you. It's used best as a defense mechanism when you're getting barraged with garbage blocks. And then there are badges. This option targets players that have gotten the most KOs in a single match. On one hand, it sounds like a good deal, as KOing them gives you all of their badges they collected. On the other hand, they've collected those badges for a reason, and 9 times out of 10, using this option is basically suicide. Oh yeah, badges. You get badges by KOing opponents, and the more you take down, the more powerful your line clears become. And that's why getting KOs is key to getting good at Tetris 99. When you clear lines, you send your opponent garbage blocks, and the more you clear in the combo, and the more powerful the clears, the more blocks you can send to your opponent. And it goes without saying that the last one standing wins. Here's why this doesn't work! All of this information I just told you isn't given to you by the game itself, even when you boot it up for the very first time. Yes, in a game with such a unique concept, there are 0 in-game tutorials that teach you about any of these new mechanics. This leads players to make up guides and videos of their own on figuring out exactly how this game works. And everyone does seem to give out some good advice until you realize one of Tetris 99's biggest flaws: the RNG. With Tetris in general, every piece is randomly given to players to control and place down as it cycles through the pieces it has and hasn't given to you yet. In general, they randomly give you pieces in a cycle to make sure you'll get at least one piece you'll need, no matter how your board looks. This works perfectly in marathon mode, but in a game where you can literally be sniped by 98 other players with garbage, the RNG gets overshadowed by more factors, such as players targeting you and how much garbage they'll give you at a time. You can literally die by a swarm of garbage without you even being able to clear a single line. That's how broken these mechanics are. And with those two types of RNG in the field, it feels like the game is deliberately trying to beat you against your will. And it comes to a point where it doesn't even feel like you have much control. It doesn't even feel like you're playing with tons of people. It just feels like you're playing a game designed to beat you. But that's not the only problem. Let's talk about speed! If you manage to get to the top 50, the music changes along with the speed of your Tetraminos falling. Same goes for if and when you reach the top 10. And this is when the game gets way too crazy. Depending on how well or how poorly you survived, either of these will stress you the hell out, especially with the top 10 music. Which, if you didn't know, is a remix of an old royalty-free soundtrack called Flight of the Bumblebees. Pieces falling so fast that the hard drop becomes useless, garbage blocks stacking non-stop, pieces not desired appear more and more. All of these things will be factors in you screwing up and failing miserably, all without being able to control all of that without already being a Tetris god. And that's another reason why Tetris 99 is such a failure to me. To veterans who played this series for decades, it's an appealing challenge, but to casual players just wanting to have fun, it's like the equivalent of climbing a mountain with barely any experience. It's painful, soul-crushing, and way too hard to beat without more playtime. And I didn't even touch how this game encourages using advanced play like T-spins and sidewells, which gives you a better advantage than just doing line clears and Tetrises alone. And yet, so many people today still dedicate themselves into this game. I get that this game has its fans, but I don't understand why they still play it after almost 2 years of it being out on the Switch. Because besides bragging rights, there is no incentive to keep playing it over and over. When this game first came out, the only thing to quote-unquote earn is profile pictures every time you level up. And for casual players, it's super weak. But today, it has something that was an attempt to keep Tetris 99 alive. The Big Block DLC pack. On May 9th, 2019, only 3 months after the base game came out, they released this DLC expansion to win back T99 players and have more options for the game. Starting with the update that was free, you can finally change the controls to use the left stick instead of the left face buttons, along with many other control options. And the biggest change on version 2.1.0 was the addition of Team Battle, which is Tetris 99 but with teams. Yeah, this mode sucked. Not only does it barely change anything gameplay-wise, it's not even played as much. When a lobby doesn't meet the required player count, it starts the game anyway, with CPUs filling the missing slots. But that aside, the DLC itself contains 2 offline modes heavily marketed as selling points. 2 offline modes which baffle me. First, there's CPU 99. Offline Tetris 99, but with every opponent being bots with adjustable difficulties. What baffles me here is that this mode should have been in the base game without spending a dime, so that new players would be able to practice for the real online mode. And then there's Marathon mode, which is basically the Tetris everyone knows and loves. What baffles me here is the fact that you have to pay $10 for it. Freaking hell, you can get that game on your freaking phone for free! Not to mention that both modes uses the same music as when you play regular T99 online. It just screams lazy to me. And that's not all. Included in the update are viable themes for when you play any of these modes. They cost Tetris tickets, which you can earn by doing daily missions. And these missions are just outright insulting. If you don't have the DLC, you can only earn 2 tickets a day. Literally 1 for every challenge you complete. But with the DLC, you get 4. And all of the base game themes cost 15 tickets. That means if you have an empty wallet, you have to literally grind to get different themes for a broken game by playing it at least 4 days in a row. And what's worse, there aren't even any microtransactions. I mean, if you enjoy the game, that's fine, but if you just want to get the themes and nothing else, you have to keep playing the game and keep listening to the same exact music over and over again. And that's not even considering what else Tetris 99 tried to do. After the Big Block DLC release, they hosted Tetris Maximus tournaments. For if they were able to perform well in the tournament, would grant them access to a special theme that can't be bought with tickets. The first one being the 8-bit theme from the original Game Boy release. It sounds like an awesome deal at first, with the sound effects used in the theme being ripped straight from the original game. But what about the top 50 and top 10 music? Well, they certainly did that, by speeding up the classic A-type theme. And nothing else. They didn't even make an 8-bit rendition of Flight of the Bumblebee remix, and every theme following after is just as lazy as the last. After that, there were tournaments themed after Splatoon 2, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and Kirby with those themes as rewards, but all of them just use existing music from their themed games. Nothing original. And if you missed those tournaments, they're available to purchase for tickets now, but twice as pricey as the base game themes. Meaning you have to grind for 8 days instead of 4 if you want that Game Boy theme. And other tournaments have themes that are yet to be available for purchase with the in-game tickets. I've been ranting a lot, but what I'm trying to say is, Tetris 99 doesn't work. It drives casual players away, only for the veterans and gods to stay there and enjoy it themselves. It butchered what was just a casual puzzle game that you can just turn off your brain and play for hours into a stress-inducing nightmare, worrying about too many things at once. It tried to ride the bandwagon on the battle royale genre at the time, and while it had a good idea on paper, it miserably failed in execution. With complicated gameplay elements added in, no in-game tutorials, and a terribly executed incentive to keep playing, it tried its hardest, but it seems like it'll be nothing more than a failed attempt at a battle royale to the casuals just shopping by on an eShop. But if you still want to find something that scratches your puzzle gaming itch, there's tons of other options available on the Switch alone, such as this may be a bit pricey compared to $10, but this one has tons more meat and potatoes in terms of content compared to 99. But the less popular in the West Puyo Puyo as well, aka Dr. Robotnik's Beam Beam Machine. You can play these marathon modes on the title screen, there's local and online multiplayer, many different game modes, stuff to unlock, and even an adventure mode, which is extremely rare for the puzzle game genre. And the adventure mode itself is just hammy Saturday morning cartoon comedy gold.
The time has come for me to clear my reputation by assaulting this young girl!
Hey, phrase it!
And it even has a sequel, which is basically more of the same but with new characters, enhanced UI, and Sonic the Hedgehog. And to make use of that Nintendo Switch Online, there's the Super Nintendo Collection with classic SNES games galore. If you want to try out Puyo Puyo without spending too much, Super Puyo Puyo 2 from the Super Famicom is imported to this collection, as well as the even lesser known Panel de Pon, the game where the lip stick comes from in Super Smash Bros. Switching blocks horizontally is the name of the game, and although it's limited in controls, the sound effects, visuals, and music make it a very pleasant and relaxing experience. Not to mention the Puzzle Bobble games if you miss playing those nostalgic game cabinets, Part-Time UFO for more physics-based puzzles, Good Job for a genuine head-scratcher, or even Pokemon Cafe Mix, a puzzle game that's, although extremely simple, is absolutely free for you to try out. I don't know how to end this, so I'm just gonna give Tetris 99 a 4 out of 10. And after all of that, I felt like I just wasted my life force. I need a battle royale that's much better than what I just suffered through. Something that'll scratch that platforming itch off of me. Something that has tons more character than just sterile blocks. Something more colorful. Something new. Something that's never been done before. Something more Russian. And I think I know what that is.